screwed for some reason. I have no idea why, right? But anyways, I had to like cancel my sessions on that day because I just couldn't talk.
Oh,
Yesterday, my throat worked again, but so I could have sessions again. But for some reason, I sounded like Darth Vader for the entire day. And today I woke up, and now I sound like someone who's going through puberty again. So if
I won't
I hope you
judge.
like Disney movies because I might start quacking if this keeps going.
It's a-okay.
Anyways, anyways, before we get into this, let me get a few disclaimers out of the way.
Okay.
First of all, everything that you say, do, or show me during the session is completely confidential. So you don't
Okay.
have to worry about me using it for anything or showing it to anyone or talking to anyone about it.
Okay.
Number two, I highly recommend you to take written notes.
Mm-hmm.
You can record the session if you want to, but
Mm-hmm.
even if you do that, I'd still urge you to take written notes because, quite frankly, people don't watch their recorded sessions. And I've become cynical enough to just assume that you're better off with written notes as well.
I
And
already have a
number
notepad.
three, perfect. That's the spirit. Number three, the mantra that I follow with these sessions is once a coachee, always a coachee, which essentially means that even after the session is over, if you have any questions, if you want me to explain something, or if you have a gameplay clip that you want me to look at real quick, no problem. Just send me a DM on Discord and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm free.
Awesome, man.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So, before we actually get into the VOD review portion, I quickly want to go over the form that you had to fill out just to kind of understand you a little bit better as a player and kind of understand the situation a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question that I have is when I asked you for your sensitivity, you specified 3.29 in game. Why so
Yes.
specific?
Um, I did I think it's called PSA method.
Okay.
And
And
that's
then
the number I ended
mhm.
up coming to.
So how long have you been using that sense now?
Um, and that goes to the other question of when did I start playing seriously?
Okay,
Um,
so you've been using it for months now. Okay,
a
cool.
couple months.
Yeah, I just need to ask because so there's people like you where there's nothing wrong, everything's fine, don't worry. But there are other people where having a sensitivity that's specific could be a sign that they change it every single day because they think that it's the reason for their bad aim.
Hmm.
I just have to make sure that you're not in that camp, but that works. Question number two, you said that you started playing seriously on April 13th. Again, very specific. Um, what happened on April 13th?
I just went off of when competitive season 15 started. Or maybe 16. Yeah, I think 16.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been like a bronze silver boy and then started actually trying to learn the roles and how to play and all the different abilities that people have. So I just put the beginning of season 16.
Okay, that kind of answers my question, but it also kind of doesn't. So,
Okay.
what exactly about that season made you? So,
Um,
you have played the game before then, right?
yes. Yep.
So,
I I've played in
what
season
made you
6
change?
before. I was playing Apex Legends, and someone was like, I was just trying to get better at the game, and then I started like asking, like, oh well, like maybe I need to adjust my mouse settings, and then I learned about the PSA method, and I started practicing my aim on Overwatch, and then, um, wow, this game's actually kind of fun now that I'm not missing every single shot. And then I don't know, I just kind of got hooked on it, and I eventually met some people. We got like a little team going on, and we play together all the time. I've been enjoying.
Okay,
Does that still not
so
answer it?
I guess let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
So I guess what is your main motivation? So you said that you want to. So your main goal is to reach GM, and then you want to get into scrims, which by the way you spell with a C, not with a K.
Oops.
Um, don't worry about it. Um, so that's a nice goal and everything, but I just don't quite like what do you hope to get out of it? So I guess I can give you a couple answers that other people have given me. Maybe that gives you inspiration. So some answers that other people have given is that they want to go pro for various reasons. Some do it for the money, some do it for the fame, some do it just so they can say that they're the best. Some people do it out of like a personal, like they want to prove something to themselves that they can do it. Other people want to get to a higher rating because they have friends and they're the lowest rated player in their friend group, so their friends won't play with them anymore, so they want to climb so they can play with their friends again. Those are kind of some
Hmm.
motivations why someone gets a session. So I guess, what is your motivation to
Um,
improve?
I think the one was pretty close. That it's like a personal goal that I can prove to myself that I am good at competitive games because I've always been like anxious to play comp in general. So I haven't even placed until season 13. I think is the first time.
Okay.
And then now I'm just I don't know proving to myself that I'm good or getting better.
So you do want to prove something to yourself.
Yeah, it's for me. I don't plan on going pro. I the busy life. I don't have time for that.
So okay, but then why did you specify scrims?
I I like that. I like the team. So like the team that I have, I say I
Mm-hmm.
have, but it's like the group of us. Um, I enjoy working together with them, and we conduct VODs together, and I think it's a lot more fun to um have a team and progress together than it is to just play solo. So
Okay.
I like the scrims, and I'd like to bring my team with me.
Okay. What level of play are your teammates at right now?
Um, they're relatively the same. They're I would say around
Okay. So
2800.
if you
Some
can give
are
me a ratio, so your enjoyment, the enjoyment that you get out of scrimming, how much of that is like the scrim itself, and how much of that is being able to play with that group of people?
I think it's like 70%, well maybe like 65 scrim, 35 them. Like we could play other games, but this is the game we choose and we want to do the scrims. I want to do the scrims. Sometimes they want to play other games like Destiny and stuff, but I choose this
Mhm.
over playing with them. So it's the
But aren't you a little bit worried? Like, what happens if you reach GM? Like,
if
you
I
wouldn't really
reach
be able to
GM and they
scrim with them
don't,
anymore. Yeah.
well, um, I mean, I'll still play with them. I'll play on a separate account with them, but when I'm trying to progress, like the past 2 or 3 days, I've been playing by myself, and I haven't been playing with them because I felt like I needed to improve personally before I could go back and try not to let them down.
So how much of your gameplay is just you playing on your own, and how much of your gameplay is you playing with them?
I'd say 70 to 80% is with them, and then yeah, the rest is self. But the past couple of days in particular have been me trying to get better at Baptiste.
Right. So here's a hypothetical situation that isn't actually that hypothetical. It could be happening very soon. So what happens? Let's say you're mid masters. Let's say you're at 3700 SR. That would be higher than the friend group you're playing with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your goal is to reach GM, right? You don't just want to sit in mid master. You actually want to get that GM icon.
Mm-hmm.
But you spend the majority of your time playing with your friends. So how do you plan on hitting GM? Because either you stop scrimming with your friends and you focus on solo queue, or you keep playing with your friends against players of their skill, which means that you're not really going to learn anything out of it. If anything, it's only going to teach you bad habits and make you worse.
Mm-hmm.
Or you scrim with your friends against better teams, and better teams might not want to scrim you, and even if they do, the experience might not be that enjoyable for your friends. Like eventually, what you have to understand is that eventually you will reach a point where your teammates are where they're right now, and you're going to be further along. And the thing that I'm concerned about is that, like, there's this kind of there's a decision that you need to make that you haven't made yet,
I
of
I know.
what's more
I've heard you
important
say
to
this
you,
too. I've watched like
right?
almost all your videos.
So
I
when the
haven't made
time
the
comes
decision.
and you need to make that decision,
Yeah.
you're not ready yet. And that's unfortunately one of the sacrifices of just being a high level player. Like I've had to make like that sacrifice too. Like a lot of my friends as well. I have a friend who, like, he was really good at League of Legends. Well, okay, really good. Like he
Hmm.
was Diamond 4,
Hmm.
which is like low GM in Overwatch, if you would translate it, right? So he wasn't like a pro player, but like he
Hmm.
knew his stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't that great. For most of I was like high gold, low platinum. I didn't reach high platinum until the very end before I quit. So, he had to make the choice. Like either he would stop with playing with me and all of his friends, and he would just focus on making challenger or whatever. But he didn't do that. He decided, okay, the reason I play this game is so I play with my friends. So he doesn't even play ranked anymore. He just plays with his friends, and he's not really like he's still good, but he's not really a diamond level player anymore. Like he's kind
Hmm.
of just built up a lot of rust on top of those skills. Um, and that's kind of the problem, because one of the most important things for me in these sessions is setting very realistic expectations. And looking at your playtime, you said 5 to 9 hours daily. Like that is a very significant amount of time investment.
It's only on my days off, so
Right. We'll
zero on working days.
we'll get into that in a second. Trust me,
Okay,
because that's going to bite you in the butt. But
I've
what I'm
seen that.
saying is, it's not about how much time you're putting in. It's what I'm trying to get at is how much time you're willing to put in. Like if you didn't have work, like you would go ham in this game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's about whether your teammates can kind of match that level of commitment. Um, so yeah, again, it's just important. Eventually, like you will have to make that choice, and if it comes down to you sacrificing, your goal of being a GM player so you can keep playing with your friends, like that is the reasonable choice. To be honest, like the majority of people wouldn't sacrifice being able to play with their friends. Um, but yeah, I'm just warning you that's something that's going to it's going to come your way. Anyways, let's get into the second part. So that's the whole, on 7 days in 2 weeks, right? Because 5 to 9 hours is a very significant amount of time. But if you
Hmm.
cut that in half, that is a little bit,
Kind of low.
you know, it's really shit. Because so not only does it mean you play less than you actually can, it also means that you're constantly having off days.
Hmm.
And constantly having off days is really annoying. So you don't have to share all of the details, but can you kind of explain the situation a little?
With work, with why I don't play some
Yeah,
days.
like exactly. Like, why is it so inconsistent?
Um, I'm a nurse. I work 12-hour shifts. I'm in the army, so I'm an army nurse. So I have
Okay.
a commitment to the military.
Mm-hmm.
Means I'm a slave to the government, pretty much. So whatever they
Well, I
tell
mean,
me, I have to do. So
yeah.
today I could have even been called in,
Mm-hmm.
regardless. So, but when as a nurse, I work in a hospital. We work 12-hour shifts, so I wake up early. I have like an hour of traffic, work. Usually have to stay late. Hour of traffic back, and I'm beat by the end of the day. So I get enough food and I get to bed, and that's pretty much it. I
Okay.
mean, I can probably squeeze in because I've seen your video how every time you sleep you reset.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could probably, and I've been thinking about it, but I haven't been doing it. Um, Playing at least like one round of a deathmatch or something.
Okay. See, here's the thing. To be completely honest with
There it goes.
my Throw, Jesus Christ. So to be completely honest with you, it's not looking like super hot. Like, don't worry, we're done talking in a second. We're gonna go into the VOD eventually.
Yeah, all good.
But again, it's just, you know, what's important to me. Another thing that's important. So you got this session. You said that you bought Game Leap, which like the problem with Game Leap isn't that they're bad. It's just that there's no reason to pay for it because you can get the same stuff on YouTube. Uh, then you know you hired a coach from Fiverr as well, and then you have a top 500 friend who reviews with you very often. What I need to make very clear is that what coaches do and what educational content does is it doesn't replace hard work, it just kind of amplifies it. It's kind of like those like do you know those really fat people that drink protein shakes? Like it's kind of the same thing here. Like a protein shake won't actually help unless you work out. So it's kind of the same thing here where I could tell you stuff, but if you know you can't play consistently or whatever, or you don't want to let go of your friends, then there's only so much I can do. So I'm going to tell you how to improve and what to work on, but in the end it's going to be your choice what, you know, how much you can actually, you know, make out of it. But yeah, could you help identify what my major flaws are? Well, you know, that's kind of the point of the session. So yes, that's what we're gonna do. I'd like to min max everything. You're in diamond. There's no min maxing to do at diamond. Trust me. Like the amount of mistakes that people do in diamond are they're very major mistakes, and I'm gonna go over them in a second. So I really won't worry too much about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you know, good for you, good on you for you know serving in the military. But you know, they always say that to serve your country, you have to make some sacrifices.
Yup. I have 2
Anyways,
years left.
let's. Wait, you said that in a tone of "I don't really want to do this."
I have
Why
2
are
years
you in
left.
the military if you don't want to do it? Or...
Oh, it's a burnout. I've been in 6.
Oh, so you wanted to do it, but now you're kind of starting to think, oh, you know,
Yep. Yeah.
wouldn't having a life be great?
Sure would.
Okay, trust me. Yeah, it's it's the same thing with esports where it just kind of consumes you and you don't really have a private life anymore.
Oh Lord.
Well, let's prepare you for that for when that day comes. So you sent the VOD. I use a website to review these VODs. The problem is that website doesn't always cooperate.
Okay.
We're going to try to use the website first. If it doesn't cooperate, then I'm just going to use Discord screen share.
Okay.
The problem with screen share is that the quality isn't as great, but I mean it's it's fine.
Okay.
So you just have to wait real quick because the website is loading. Jesus, I already drank milk with honey, and it didn't do shit.
I'm getting sick too, homie.
It's the winter. It always hits you during the winter.
I think it's all the little kids at work that cough in my face, but yeah, the winter too.
You know, working in a hospital might not be the. Anyways, here's the link. It's gonna ask you for a password. That password is 123. And yeah, just let me know when you're good to go.
I'm spinning, thinking about
You're
it.
spinning. Okay.
Kind of looks like I'm in there.
I mean, can you see a VOD?
Oh, I do not. Let me refresh. Oh, wait. Okay. Select your here.
Okay, so you can see the VOD?
Or can.
Okay, it says like assemble your team 20. Okay, now you press tab. 25 seconds, 24,
4,
23.
3,
Okay,
2,
good.
What's up,
1.
Salsa?
Perfect. Now I'm skipping ahead.
Going,
Does
bro.
that work as well?
Yes, indeed.
No, I feel like a doctor. Someone just had a car
Exactly
crash.
that.
Can you feel this? Can you feel that? How many fingers am I holding
I
up?
had a
Okay, good. So, the first thing we need to talk about is always the most basic, which is the first decision that you make every game, which is what character to pick. Can you
Okay.
please talk a little bit about what character you chose? So, you said that you are a support player.
Yes.
So, looking at this team comp, you picked a Baptiste.
Yes.
Can you kind of go into why you picked him, what other options you have, and why you decided against those other options?
If there were some strategic level of thought behind this I could share, I'd be bullshitting you, other than I wanted to play Baptiste to get better at him. One, I've been enjoying him. Two, he's very popular and strong right now, I believe. And we have, like, I could have played Moira because I feel good on Moira. Could have played Zenyatta because I also feel good on Zenyatta. The rest of the healers I'm working on. Yet my friend has told me I need to expand my pool, but
Okay. Okay.
there's no
I'm gonna.
strategy.
Okay. 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 Let's say you go to the hospital. I have no idea what nurses exactly do, but let's say I don't know. It's understaffed, and there's you're down in the clinic, and there's a little fucking 6-year-old that shoved like an army soldier up his nose or something, right? And you have to take care of it, right? Doesn't sound too hard. In that situation, would you use A, the tweezers, or B, the bone drill, because you need to practice your bone drill?
Gotcha. Definitely use
It's
the
kind of the
tweezers.
same thing. It's kind of the same thing here, right? Practicing a certain character in a situation where said character is simply not appropriate, it doesn't really teach you anything. At that point, the only thing that it helps you with is mechanics, at which point you might as well just jump into a free for all.
Okay.
So, in this situation, which support do you think, or which supports could have been good? Or I guess, like, because obviously, like, kind of in retrospect, right? Let us pretend you didn't pick Baptiste, and you look at what your teammates picked, and you need to choose someone right now. Who would you choose?
I would
And
think
again,
defensive alt.
completely ignore your experience. Like, don't take into account how good you are on the characters. Just
Okay.
out of all of the supports, assuming that you're equally good at all of them, which one is objectively the most effective choice?
Well, I'd be guessing, but I would say a defensive alt like a Lucio or a Zenyatta, since we have
Why
an
would that
Ana
be
alt.
useful? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because it doesn't look like we have any defensive alts in case. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's an argument. Okay. What else?
I think Ana's a strong healer, so Lucio or Zenyatta with their low amount of heals would be covered.
Okay. So you ideally want a more utility / damage support rather than someone that focuses on healing. Okay. What else?
I wouldn't choose a Mercy necessarily, because Hanzo already has one pick potential. Mei doesn't really do a lot of damage that needs to be boosted.
Mm-hmm.
I could maybe pick a Brig since it looks like we have a very brawly front line, as well as that Mei.
There's one weakness in your team that one of the support characters can alleviate, and it's a weakness that Brigitte would have as well, which is why Brigitte is not a viable pick here, unless your other support would switch to that one hero that helps with that weakness. What's the weakness?
Is it against Afara?
No, we're not talking about the enemy team. We're just talking about your team.
I'm not sure. Not
What to
like we don't have a hit
team,
scan. Well,
if you look at your team, like you have a Reinhardt, you have a Mei.
they're all close.
Okay.
Hanzo is
And
long. Go ahead.
so, close range characters, what do they like? Something that can help them with what?
Is it mobility, like getting in and out?
Okay. And which support helps people?
Lucio.
Okay, good. So, you need someone who doesn't focus as much on healing because you already have the Ana. You
Okay.
need someone who ideally has a defensive ultimate because you have an Ana. And ideally, you want someone who can counteract the weakness of the Mei and the Reinhardt. Which support fits all those three categories?
Sounds like Lucio.
Sounds like Lucio. Playing Mei and Reinhardt without a Lucio is very, very unpleasant.
Okay.
And the reasons you mentioned as well are very good reasons as well. Baptiste doesn't really do a whole lot.
Okay.
Like, you don't really have a whole lot to heal because you already have the Ana, so you guys are just going to be stealing ult charge away from each other. And yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible pick, but Lucio is just such an obvious choice in this situation. So, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Well, let's see if we can make it work.
And that Ashe is gonna have Bob. Ball's behind. We're down one from ball behind. Hold on,
Doesn't
hold on.
matter,
You
just
guys
focus on
go
your
too
front
fast.
line.
Where'd the ball go?
Ball's behind. You move forward.
Ah, there you
Alright.
Okay.
We'll be alright with him though. We have Mei. Ashe is top. Ashe is top.
Especially on this point, another reason why Lucio is really nice is because he allows you to, for one, get through chokes faster. So against the enemy team, it's kind of difficult because whenever your team is walking anywhere, or whenever you're walking anywhere, you're kind of slow, so you're exposing yourself a lot. And also, Lucio is really, really good at contesting high ground. And if you just think about Hollywood, there are a lot of high grounds. Sometimes the enemies can be up here, sometimes they can be over here. On second point, you have the two huge buildings that people can be on. So there are a lot of high ground positions that people can take, and Lucio is very, very good at getting people off of high ground. Whereas at Baptiste, you just kind of exist. And like, sure, you know, you could have pressed your E in time, and maybe you would have lived. Like, the enemy Ashe just dynamited you, so you probably want to, you know, press E so you can stay alive. But yeah. Ideally, what you want to do as Pup here is just push through as quickly as possible. When you saw the Hammond behind you, don't get distracted by people
County
like
healer. You
Hammond,
only have Ana.
because that's literally their entire job. If you ignore them, you make them useless.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to push through the choke and then ideally take that high ground where the Ashe was on.
Watch this ball.
But again, you don't really have
Ball's behind again.
like the greatest front line with this back line. Like, there just
I
isn't a
wonder
lot of
for
synergy.
Can you say that again? I don't have a lot of what?
You don't have the greatest synergy between your front line and back line.
I'm on the right.
I got you. Okay.
One, still going down.
Okay, can you comment on this ultimate?
I can. Doesn't mean it's correct. Yes, my thoughts were that we were losing momentum, that we had it, and then as we got on point, we had lost it, and it was just a stalemate. And I was trying to use it offensively, get a pick, maybe two, help push the momentum along again. The execution probably needs work.
Okay, so what's the problem about your about this ult?
Well, I'm not too sure. I do know that it doesn't work out well because I don't get good shots on them. Maybe it would be better used on the floor, like on the corner. But they just
Why would
line
it
of
be
sight
better
me.
used on the floor?
Because they line of sight me. So if I were to use it on the corner, I could have walked further out and had a wider angle of view. But that's all I got.
Just to make sure, this is going to be kind of a stupid question.
Mm-hmm.
You do know that like your teammates can shoot through your ultimate as well, right?
Yeah. I use it very greedy, selfishly a lot. So fix that.
I mean, which ultimate is better? An ultimate that only you can shoot through, or an ultimate that you and your entire team can shoot through?
Well, clearly that my thoughts were it would be a different angle that they would have to look at both the front and the side, but it didn't really create much of an angle because Reinhardt's literally right.
But why do you care about angles? You have your ultimate.
I don't know.
And you don't really care about sightlines as long as it covers the point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the objective of the game? To capture the point.
Mm-hmm.
The only way they can prevent that is by getting onto the point. So you don't care about, shooting people who are over here or who are in this building or people who are behind these boxes. All you care about is that if an enemy touches the point, they get melted.
Okay.
But this ultimate is, for one, ridiculously selfish. Like, no one on your team
Good sleep,
can
good sleep, good
use
sleep.
this ultimate.
Go back, go. Kill them all.
And yeah, no one on your team can use this ultimate except you. Which is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Back.
The whole reason behind Baptiste is you're supposed to pick him
Oh, fuck.
in team comps that are very stacked up, that play together.
Push this?
Because that way you can maximize how many people can shoot through it.
Okay.
But right now you're just kind of playing solo.
I need heal.
Like even right here, so you're on the high ground, but this high ground doesn't really help you because your team isn't on the point yet. So you're just exposing yourself to the enemy team even though you have a Reinhardt shield. Like
Heals up
you're
top.
kind of playing like a DPS player.
Pulse mine still.
They're at.
Okay.
You're not really focusing on just helping your team. Like your ultimate, you're using that selfishly. Your positioning is selfish because like you don't focus on, working with your team. You just focus on the positioning where you can shoot people.
We have drag.
And
So this
that's
is
not
a
really
better
your
spot.
priority. Yeah, at least until the team pushes onto the point. Once your teammates are on the point, then you can focus. Like right here. Look at what you're doing.
Leave the front line.
Like what's more important? Like shooting that Hammond
Dragon.
or keeping your entire team in your line of sight so you can heal them if they need it.
Gotcha.
Like you get sued if someone died because you left the room when you weren't supposed to leave the room. And like how can a nurse just leave his teammates alone to rot and die just because you wanted to light this person up? Like you do see how this is your fault, right?
I do. Yeah. I didn't notice.
Fall off. Push,
God
push,
damn it.
push.
I'm like walking on
Alright,
top of
you're good.
him.
We're gonna have combo.
Do you even know where they died?
No.
Like if you're supposed to take care of someone and they die and someone asks you where was the person when they died and you're like, I don't know. Like that's a pretty big red flag. Because ideally you should know.
Right here, we're gonna window behind.
If
window
someone
behind,
dies and you don't see them
kill
when
the
they
Sigma,
die,
kill the Sigma,
then
kill
you
the
messed
Sigma.
up as a
Sigma
support.
overextended.
Unless you're 100%
Sigma purple overextended.
confident
Kill him, kill him.
that your teammates are going to be fine. Like for example, if there's a support ultimate going, or if the team fight is already won and you're just trying to farm some ult charge or pick people off who are running away, that's fine. But at the start of the team fight, you're just
Sigma, kill the Sigma. Sigma overextended.
like
Sigma
you
purple
need to
overextended.
support
Kill him,
your
kill him.
team, not
Huge. Need heals,
play
need heals,
like
need heals.
instead of
Thank
them.
you, thank you.
Alright, me and sorry.
Like don't do their job for them.
Alright, we got it. Okay.
Okay, see, so like this ultimate is a little bit better, but it's still very far behind. Like ideally, you just want to put it on the middle of the point, so that your teammates can walk on either side of it to make sure that it's always effective. But right now, your teammates want to be on the point, right, to capture it.
Mm-hmm.
But what are they supposed to do with this ultimate if they stand on the point?
They can't use it.
Right?
Yeah. What
So
would
you
have
want
better?
to put it further forward. Ideally,
Okay.
literally just in the middle of the point.
Okay.
and then your teammates can play around it. If
No
they
more
want.
ults, no more ults.
Like, I mean, your Hanzo played around it at least, but again, ideally you want to put it right where the team fight is going to be and where your teammates are going to be playing. Baptiste is really just a lot about being aware of where your teammates are. But so far in this VOD, you kind of didn't give a shit about where your teammates are at any point. Like, people are dying and you don't see them. You drop your ultimate, even though your teammates can't shoot through it.
Ryan, he's stuck.
Good job, team. Let's keep it going.
Nice. Good wall.
Okay. Push the cart, push the
Alright,
cart.
you have no healers over there. You guys have no healers once you walk past? We can't see anymore.
Calling that your teammates have no healers is
Wow, we
also
don't
a
need
good call.
healers.
I'll come up. I'm moving.
Pushing up when people are already on cart is also good. Taking high ground is also good.
Hey, Widow now? Widow Ash.
Getting
They
off of
double
high
snipers.
ground just after you took it is not that great, but it's, I mean, you have a
What
shield,
else,
so it's
top?
okay.
I fell.
So, Widow, top where?
It was top left. I heard it.
They have double hit scan, I think. Or double sniper, double hit scan. Do you think it's better to stay high ground still?
It's really situational. The main thing that high ground gives you in certain situations is it prevents people from chasing after you. Especially if they don't have a lot of range, like a Reinhardt can't do anything against you, or a Sigma can't do anything. Also, certain ultimates like Earthshatter or Sigma's ultimate can't hit you if you're on high ground. So it also gives you some defensive ability. And also it can draw attention away from your teammates. So if you feel confident that you can waste the enemy team's time, you can alleviate pressure from your teammates by taking more aggressive positions. But that's more of an advanced concept. First you focus on just, healing properly, and then you can focus on, applying pressure so that your teammates get focused less.
Alright,
Don't
I'm
hold
gonna
on
drop
to your
window.
ultimate. If you have your ultimate, use your ultimate. Please use your ultimate. Again, too late. Ideally, you want to use your ultimate as soon as you find an opportunity.
Okay. Window?
The placement of that ultimate is fine, but again, it's just
We're all-
way too late.
Widow, where's the widow?
Ideally, especially because you had your your invincibility drone. As
As
soon as you get your ultimate right here, heal up the Hanzo, and then just place your your ultimate right in front of the enemy Reinhardt. Like, what's going to happen to that Reinhardt?
It melted.
He's gonna get melted. He's gonna die in 1.5 seconds. You place your ultimate down, and then you can also use your E right in front of it, because then your teammates can just focus on shooting, and they don't have to worry about dying.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so it's not for me. That window's not for me.
Yeah,
Alright, I'm gonna
but
drop window.
yeah, just way too late. Like, you did use your field, but you used it too late, and you used your ultimate too late.
Okay.
If you would have done those things earlier, then the Reinhardt would have died quicker. And the faster the Reinhardt dies, the faster your teammates can switch to the next target. Does it make sense?
Yep. Window. Oof. We're all.
Widow, where's the widow?
Top left, top left. Hi.
Okay, we're all there, we're all there.
These coalescent. Good,
Big.
good. Let's push with it, push with it.
Okay, nice pick.
I'm pushing
Okay,
with you,
stop
tanks.
healing your teammates when they're full HP. You're just wasting ammo.
I'm pushing with you,
I'm
tanks.
gonna die too. Okay, they got shattered for some reason. So deaths like that are fine because you need to kind of cut your losses. So in that case, when your teammates are getting split, if you have the choice of healing 3 teammates or healing 1 teammate, you should obviously choose the 3 teammates. So in that situation, you just focus on your front line because they were pushing up.
Oh
and you
god,
didn't really
get
worry
the
about
fuck
rest of
out
your
of
team.
here.
I'm just gonna die to the
You're getting really split now, though, and I'm getting a little bit confused by. So you see that your Ana dies,
Pushing with you, tanks.
but why do you start running into the Reinhardt? Like, why would you run over here if your teammates are all over there to the left?
Gotcha.
Ideally, you always want to focus on playing around your front line, right? It doesn't matter where the rest
Oh
of your
god,
team
get
plays.
the
You just
fuck
want
outta
to focus
here.
on supporting your front line. Also, you completely missed the kill on the Lucio. completely ignored the Lucio again. Don't tunnel vision after the Reinhardt with his full shield if there's a Lucio right next to him.
They have sides, watch out.
Okay. Also, right here, you you tunnel visioned too much. So this is the problem of splitting from your front line. Because now they're dying and they have no healing. You were so focused on chasing after the Reinhardt here and chasing after the Lucio and everything that you completely left your team over there just to die. Which isn't really, you know, what a support is supposed to do. Also, you died even though you have your E up. Ideally, you never want to die while having your E
You
up.
only have Ana. Ana's your only healer. We still have Crowd Dragons. We still win. We still have ult.
Ashe top, Ashe top. My shield is broken, my shield is broken.
Yeah, Zarya Dragon. Can we get it? Okay, huge.
Okay, huge ult combo.
There's an Ashe top of two.
That's fine, you have your ultimate if you really want to use it. Again, that positioning is kind of shit. What are they supposed to shoot? There's like pillars and boxes and pillars.
Gotcha.
And ideally, you really want to put it out in the open. Behind or like in front of your Reinhardt shield. Because now your Hanzo is very limited to this position. Right? You want your ultimate to cover as large of an area as possible so the enemy team can't run away from it.
Okay.
But yeah, right here it's very easy for the enemy team to just hide, and then they don't have to worry about your ultimate.
Look up top, look up top, look up top. Don't stay with the top, don't push it.
She's dead.
Yeah, nice.
Need heals, need heals, need heals.
Look up
I
top,
think
look up
you're
top.
solid.
Don't stay with the top, don't push it.
She
She's
just
dead.
got one shot, not what she could have done.
Need heals, need heals, need heals. He's purple, he's purple. Ryan. Huge.
But at this point, you really just rely on your DPS to
They're
kill
saying
stuff.
up.
There's not much like.
More is one, more,
After
more,
you
more.
use that ultimate, you kind of left the team fight in your teammates' hands.
Behind me.
Your ultimate and your cooldowns are really the main way that you can actually carry team fights. Outside of that, healing is just like that's your job, but you're not really going to carry. Also, again here, do you see how you get distracted by that Widowmaker?
Yeah, and I ignore the team.
Which of your teammates can you see right now?
0.
Literally no one.
I blocked it, bullshit.
Like, do you know where he died?
I don't.
It's kind of bad.
Okay.
Nice shatter.
But okay, I mean, you guys get the cap, so that's good. You have another ultimate, use it wisely.
I got bad spawn, so I'm all the way back.
So you have a Lucio now, which is pretty nice. See, even your teammates saw that your support lineup just didn't make a lot of sense and they swapped.
Thank you.
What about top left? Top mid, top mid, top mid. Yeah, right there.
Okay,
Oh my god.
nice. As soon as you turn the corner, you can just use your ultimate. Like, long stretches of the map like
Alright,
that
we
are
have window
really,
for this
really good
corner,
what
window
you
for this
sold.
corner. You ready? Ready? Ready?
Alright, yeah.
Hold on.
Do it.
I wanted to push in a little bit.
Do it!
Wait for them to peek, wait for them to peek more.
Actually, yeah, it's a good idea to let them push in, that's a fair point.
Just line aside.
They're not contesting for some reason. And now there. Go! Go!
There's a lamp. Aim for lamp.
Huge
Aim for lamp.
field.
You're in lamp.
Drop
You're
your
in lamp.
ult!
Oh, I got charged out.
See, so it's very important to play proactive whenever you can. Right? So
Yeah.
if the enemy team is playing passive like this, you need to make sure that you're in a position where as soon as they expose themselves, you can play proactive. But the problem with this position is kind of the opposite of the problem that you've been facing all of this time, where right now you can't really see the enemy team.
Okay.
And that kind of sucks because now you don't know when you can use your ultimate,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So ideally you need to find a you need to find a middle ground, like the best of both worlds.
There's a lamp. Aim for lamp. Aim for lamp. You're in lamp. You're in lamp.
Oh, I got charged out. Mine's behind you.
Okay, again at this point,
Big
Ah.
as well.
that ultimate was actually pretty nice. It was very, very tight. Like, that window was very close. That ultimate could have gone nowhere, but it was fine. in general, you just need to be very careful about using your ultimates close to the enemy spawn like this when you've already lost someone. Because winning a fight after you've lost someone is very, very difficult. So in some situations, it might be better to just hold on to your ultimate until your teammates have regrouped.
They're split.
Again, right here, do you see how you push up, try and get that damage in, even though there's a Hammond who needs healing? But you just turn away from him because you want to shoot people over here for some reason. Like, you can't see any teammates. I guess you can see your Hanzo's arrow, like, bow here, but that's not really very helpful. So, yeah.
May's on right. Careful, May on right. Careful, May on right.
Breaks half.
Also, another thing, you can use your immortality field more aggressively. So far, most of the time, you've used it very defensively. Like, you hold on to it until your teammates are kind of low HP. You can also use it to allow your teammates to peek without having to worry about dying. Right? So in this situation, your teammates are kind of stuck back here, and they can't really do anything. But whenever you place down your ultimate, or in situations like this, you can place down your lamp very aggressively, which allows your teammates to stay like out in the open, which means that they can shoot whoever they want without having to worry about dying. And doing so would have allowed your teammates to keep that aggressive positioning and then clean the enemy team up. But you just didn't see that opportunity, which means your teammates are forced to fall back, which means that this happens.
So would go back a little bit?
Yeah.
Can I draw? Am I able to draw?
Yep.
So I can see the
You can also
main choke?
control it.
Oh.
Like, just use your arrow keys or click on the thing on the bottom and you should be able to just control it. Can you try drawing something?
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red sucker.
I can't control the video. Can you put it to the main choke where my lamp right here? Would this be an okay spot for a lamp?
Yes. So I can see that you're worried about it getting destroyed. But you don't have to worry too much about it getting destroyed, especially in these low ratings. You can use it a little bit more cocky. So in a higher level match, using it there would be okay. Although you probably want to place it even more aggressively.
Okay.
So you can use it behind this RV, or there's like behind this wall. There's some crates sitting there. You could drop it behind them as well, just so your teammates can push further past the choke. But in these lower ratings, you really don't have to worry about people focusing it down, because most of the time it takes a very long time for them to actually destroy it. So you don't have to worry about just putting it very far forward. You also need to keep in mind that you have you have the Maya wall, you have your Sigma shield, which means that ideally, if you place it on the cart, some sort of shield might end up protecting it anyways. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
Oh god, this is so fucked.
I got one. I bleed. I'm really 1v6.
Okay, so TLDR, focus on keeping your teammates alive first and dealing damage second. Don't be so selfish with your ultimate. Don't be so scaredy cattish with your immortality field, and learn about each support character's strengths and weaknesses so you can pick the appropriate character for each situation.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Not yet. I mean, that was a lot. I can digest it.
Well, I always take that as a compliment because it means that I must have done something right explaining it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you usually I use these last minutes of the session so people can ask questions, but I guess if you don't have any questions, then, I mean, how's your day?
It's good. All right, I can think of some questions. So you consider what to be low SR? Diamond and below?
Anything below Masters is low SR. Masters is kind of mid tier, and then Grandmaster is when you get into like high elo matches, and then top 500 is like top tier. Keep in mind though that this is from the perspective of people who are actually focusing on the game. So the reason why, like, Masters is obviously a very high rating. That's like top 3% of the player base or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why it's only like why I only consider it mid tier is because you shouldn't underestimate the amount of people who only play comp so that they can get their golden gun, and who really only play the game because they're weebs and they like skins and stuff like that. Like
Okay.
there's like the amount of casuals in Overwatch is genuinely insane. So sure, Masters is like top 3% of the entire player base, but you know, it's maybe top 50% of the people that actually try pretty hard. So yeah, you know, Diamond is like, okay, you know, this guy, like, Diamond is the last rating someone can reach without really taking the game serious. Like, if you want to get to, like, you can't get to Masters unless you actually take the game serious, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. I feel like that sucks because I feel like I take it serious.
Well, you take it serious, but it's not about that. It's about like your circumstances as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like, we cannot underestimate. So for one, you were Diamond, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like you're bad, right? Um, and you do take it serious, but it's about actually not just playing a lot. It's not just about how much time you put in. It's also about how you use that time, right? And you know, I didn't tell you much new stuff. Like, everything I told you is kind of like straightforward. Like, it makes sense. I don't think there were any crazy discoveries, you know, that blew your mind. So those are all things that just by playing a lot and getting experience and kind of thinking about it, you can learn as well. But you know, that answer that you gave me at the start, that kind of defined everything. When I asked you why you picked, you know, Baptiste, and you said, "Oh, because I wanted to," and you couldn't even give me a proper reason. Like, the way you improve at anything is by asking questions, and especially asking questions about what you're doing. Why am I choosing this hero? Why am I going on a flank? Why am I holding onto my ability? Why am I using my ultimate here? Like, it's not just about thinking about what you can do more, it's just about understanding the decisions that you're already making. Because if you go through your VOD and just ask yourself, like, why did I do that? I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have an answer for most of those decisions because they just happen on autopilot. You just do them kind of out of instinct. But you need to be able to justify every single decision you do in the game, otherwise you're not going to be able to improve. And you know, that's what taking it serious means. It means sitting down, opening the replay viewer, and then just questioning all of the decisions you made. You know, taking it serious doesn't just mean playing the game a whole lot, because trust me, there are a lot of 16-year-old kids who come home from school and then play the game for 6 hours a day. But you know, they play a lot, they're probably addicted, but that doesn't mean that they actually take it serious. So there's a difference between playing a lot and actually taking it serious and almost treating it like a degree or a job instead of just a video game. That's what I mean by taking it serious, where it's not just about the fun, but it's about the mastery of the craft, of the skill.
All right.
Okay,
I think I have one more quick question.
hit me.
Should I don't play Lucio well.
Mm-hmm.
Should I like learn those characters first and then try to play comp?
Well, you should familiarize yourself with the basic kit, right? Like, you know, you should know how wall riding works, how his auras work, how his ultimate works. Like, you need to get the basics down,
Mm-hmm.
but after that, like, you just have to kind of jump into the cold water,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So don't just play Lucio in quick play for 3 months until you feel like you're ready.
Okay.
You need to eventually, you know, get shit done.
Is it appropriate to, like, in this situation, just choose Lucio even though I'm not great at him, but he fits the team well?
Yes.
Okay.
Only way you can get better at using the tweezers is by using the tweezers
Okay.
in situations where tweezers are appropriate.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay, awesome. Well, then I guess I wish you the best of luck. If you want to, you can go to this page and leave a review. And if you have any questions, just send me a message on Discord.
Cool. Thanks,
Okay,
man. Appreciate it. Before you
Have a
go,
good one.
I'm a big fan and I love your shit.
Thank you very much. I wish I could make more videos, but you wouldn't believe how much time they take and how little you get in return. So it's always difficult to make them. But when I get to make them, it's very great. Okay, well,
Thanks,
then,
man.
third time's a charm. Good luck.
Thank you. See ya.
Have a good one. See ya.